Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle. In this live this morning, we're going to talk about how someone can pursue financial independence and buy a forever home while not letting that purchase wreck their fire movement. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about my forever home. And what you're going to see in today's live is just how much of a money nerd I am. That's going to come out a little bit later. So I'm going to say, good morning, Julie. You're going to love this because I'm going to get into some numbers. And also, I'm going to come up with a comment later. I'll read a comment that Julie left me last week. There were a couple of very helpful comments. Actually, it wasn't last week. It was on my video tour of my forever home. I had a couple of fabulous comments, and so I decided to save those and bring those to this live today. So I'm giving you all teasers about what all is coming up. But we are going to get right into it today. And so, hi Amaya, great to see you. Wayne is here. Paz and Planola is here. Thank you all for coming. We are going to talk about my forever home today and the different processes that I go through. One, in making the decision to buy it, which I made in about 5 minutes. Okay, that's how I operate. My realtor says that I jump out of a plane and then I build my parachute on the way down. And that's how I operate in real estate. I've made that decision with buying real estate, rental properties. I've made that decision recently in selling some rental properties. And so next week's live is going to be an update on my rental properties. But this week, I'm going to give you an update on where I am in purchasing my forever home. And so we're gonna get right into it because I have a whole lot to cover. Christiana is here, but Christiana, I think, is driving or moving or around or something. So she's just listening today. But thank you, Christiana, for your live this morning. So you're always fabulous. And and Lakeside Laura, I have a new friend, Mary Jean. I just met at Lakeside Laura's live last night, and now I'm running the playlist for Mary Jean's channel. And so she also does singing bowls like Lakeside Laura. So now I have 2 singing bowl channels to watch. So this is awesome. Oh, drive safe, Laura. Please stay. Just don't touch the keyboard. Stay safe when driving, because I do that. I will be watching someone's live and trying to comment while driving. Like when I pull up at a stoplight, I'll put in a quick comment. You know, don't do that. Don't do what I do. So anyway, let's get right into it. So this is what we're going to talk about today. My inspection results. We are going to talk about an update on the mortgage, which has been, I don't want to call it a debacle, okay? But we're going to, hopefully I'll get to explain all that. Which means that I have been a jerk because everything has not gone smoothly, and so I wanted it to go smoothly. I really want my forever home. And so I'll update you on where we are in the process because we're not done yet. I'm supposed to close in mid-September, and we're finally starting to get some traction in the process. So let's talk about first whether or not I made the right decision. Some of you know that we are sitting in my RV, which I have shot a lot of lives over the past year sitting here in my RV. And the original plan, we'll go back to that, was to put a brand new mobile home on this land where the RV is. That was the plan. I created a video giving a walkthrough tour of my brand new mobile home, the model that was on the lot that I was going to buy. Well, I would have had to add a 2-car garage, at least a 2-car garage, to the side of that mobile home. And that was an additional $50,000. in cost in addition to the mobile home. Well, what I found was a piece of land that already had the garage, but it had an older mobile home which was the same size as the brand new mobile home, all for the same price as just the mobile home. So I'm saving $50,000. And I recognized that right off the top, and I told the guy within 5 minutes, I'll take it. Because I see savings. And when I see money savings, whether it's buying a rental property, I've been selling rental properties, and I was looking at, excuse me, my eye is blurry. There we go. I was looking at what did I pay for these properties and what was their appraised value at the time that I paid for them. And all this stuff will come out next week. But I bought properties at a discount. Now that I'm selling some rental properties, people are buying them from me at a discount. And I can't be mad. I cannot be mad about that. That's real estate investing. And so that whole nother side story there. But my point is that when you recognize value, you can either wait, you can analyze it to death. And my realtor says that's what normal people do. They analyze a deal to death. You know, well, I'll get back to you in a week and I'll go run the numbers and I'll do this. I don't do that. I jump out of the plane. I will build my parachute on the way down. I did not know if I had enough money for the down payment for this new home. I did not know where that money was going to come from. I did not know whether any bank was going to lend me money on an older mobile home on land. I didn't know. However, I said, I'll take it and I will figure this out. So I started making phone calls. And what I did was I had two lenders. I'm not even going with my script. I'm just going into the story. I had two lenders. One lender said within 3 days, because they said fill out the application and within 3 days we'll tell you whether or not you've been approved. And so I had a second lender who was recommended by someone. And so I went to these two lenders and I said, okay, I'll do one application first and then I'll do the other application. Well, the first application was from a lender that sort of mentioned better terms and options and that kind of thing. So I said, okay, I'll fill out their application first. I did that. Then I filled out the other application, which was a local bank close to me here. Well, the local bank came back in 3 days and said, you're approved. Now, the issue is that I really wanted the terms of the second lender, the one that gave me the better terms, the one I filled out first. Well, that one is the one that I'm going with, but that one dragged out for well over 10 days. So if you want to see somebody become a jerk, that was me. Because I was just like, why is every day a question that you have to come back to me tomorrow with the answer? Don't you know what the answer is? And so anyway, that's what's been going on. I've been very stressed about the whole thing. But I'm with that lender now, and I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. But we had to get through that. So then finally, I had to tell the lender that approved me after 3 days that no, I'm going to go with someone else, even though it was more painful. So, you know, the easiest to do business with, and I try to make it easy to do business with me. That's just my philosophy in life. I don't know who told me that. Somebody told me that. But that is my philosophy in life. I make it really easy to do business with me. And so people who make it hard for me to do business with them, I don't come back. I don't come back. If you make it really painful on me to do business with you, I'm just not coming back. So that's really how I operate. I'm going to look over here at the chat, which I never do, and not enough. And good morning, Julie Jordan Scott is here. Rhonda from Entreaty by Rhonda Hensley is here. CL Fantasy, good morning, is here. And thank you all for coming, because you guys may not be money people or math people, but I'm going to get into some numbers because I was so excited last night when I started playing with the numbers. And so I've been telling you the story about my two lenders. And so I'm going to try and get back to my script because this was really supposed to be, in order here. But who knows if I get through the whole list in an hour. So I sort of try to put things in priority so that if I only get through a half or three quarters of them, at least I've covered most of the important things, you know, um, about my new house. Um, so let me ask you guys in the chat, and I have the poll in there. Um, would you buy? Would you rather buy if you were buying your forever home and you were in your mid 60s, right? Maybe you're younger and you bought your forever home a long time ago, but you're in your mid 60s. You're buying your forever home. Would you want one that is already move-in ready, or would you want one that needs fixing up? Some people do major renovations. I am not a major renovation person. I don't run contracting crews, none of that. And we're going to talk about that again next week when I update you guys on my rental that caught fire. So that's all next week is rentals and my budget and all that stuff, because I'm going to put out my end of month budget video shortly. Well, it's all over the place because that's the kind of month that I've had. So right now we're going to stay focused on this because I am not only buying a property, my forever home, I'm also selling rental properties. So I'm stressed from two different sides, right? So we're going to take them 1 week at a time here. Um, so yeah, go into the poll. Now, some people would say, I want a fixer-upper because I'm handy around the house and I can fix up things myself. It would save me a lot of money. A lot of people are. They can do a lot of the work themselves, which would save them a lot of money and increase the value of the home. So forced appreciation. Other people say, I want something I can just move into. I don't have to do anything. I can just enjoy my retirement and enjoy my life. Well, I am a mix of the two. That's why I threw in that third option of both. My forever home, if you saw the video, is an older mobile home. It's been gently lived in, but it's dated, which I'm okay with. I could live in a dated home. I don't have to have the newest, best items, right? One, I don't need $1 million home. I have friends with multi-million-dollar homes. I don't need that nice of a home just for me. I just don't. And so what I want, and this is what I always say, is do the things that are important to you. And what's important to me is land. I want land. I want a lot of land. And so that is more important to me, per se, than the house. I want privacy. I want peace and quiet. So when I'm grading my students or looking up research articles to give my students, I don't have a whole bunch of nonsense going on around me. One of the things, I'll tell you a short, quick story. When I lived in a condo in Silver Spring, Maryland, I lived on the top floor because I always bought condos on the top floor. I didn't want anyone above me. Well, to get to my third floor walk-up condo, I had to pass a couple of other condos below me. Well, people were always smoking weed in those condos, right? So I'm walking up my hallway and I got to walk through weed smell to get to my own front door. So when I moved out of Maryland, I said, never again. I don't want to live anywhere close to anybody smoking weed. I just don't. And so, therefore, the first place I bought, 8 acres. This place I'm buying, 4.6 acres. See? So I should not be walking past people smoking weed. Just not my thing. So anyway, that's me being old. Okay, old and crotchety. That's me. So so anyway, we'll get back to this list, which is when you're buying something, you have to think about the value. And so when I saw this home, I saw the value to me, not the value to the seller, not the value to someone else. I saw value to me. And so yeah, I took it in 5 minutes and I said, we'll figure it out. I mean, one of the things that I always tell people is you have to know where your money is. Now, I knew I had access to money, but I did not know where I was going to pull money from in order to put a down payment on this. And so the first lender that approved me within 3 days had a huge down payment. And so I'm going to talk about that number here in just a little bit because I really want to go into the numbers. I'm so excited about these numbers. But it was a huge down payment. The one with the better terms, where this has been painful, had a lower down payment. So it was less money I had to pull from different sources to close this deal. And so I'm going to get into that in just a moment. But right now, let's talk about why this house is different. It's different from where I am right now in that the house is already built. So this goes into the poll question of, do you want something that's already move-in ready? That one is move-in ready. I don't have to purchase a mobile home, wait 4 months for them to build it, deliver it, install it, and then a year, 2 years later, before I have the money to build a garage. So I don't know how many more months I would have to sit here to come up with, they wanted a huge, huge down payment. I think 25%, I'm not sure, for the brand new mobile home. So I've been sitting here trying to save my pennies, saying I need to come up with 25% of a brand new home just to have them start building it to bring it here. So I've been sitting here for a year now. So I could still sit here and try to save my pennies to get the brand new mobile home. Or I can move out in a month, have the mobile home, the garage, the land, everything. So it was a no-brainer for me. It was a no-brainer. So what am I going to do with this land, right? Which is, I'm going to sell it. I called a person yesterday who has a ton of listings of land right here in my area. And I found him on homes.com. He lives here where I live, but he lists a ton of pieces of land. And I called him yesterday and I said, hey, I'm going to have some land for sale middle of September. He said, no problem. And it really should go fast because I already have septic, I already have water, and I already have electric. All someone has to do, again, is just put in a mobile home and then just connect it. A lot of the infrastructure is already here. So the land should go quickly, which again would help me in paying down debt, which is what this is all about, right? I'm in this big, huge debt payoff mode. So this is all about paying off debt and becoming more financially free. Oh, Oki's here? Oh, I see Oki. Oki, I have watched your entire playlist. I just finished watching Oki's entire playlist, and then now I'm watching someone else's playlist. So that's me. I am all about supporting other YouTubers. You know, it's just not about me. I'm not trying to make a ton of money for myself. I would rather try to help all of you get monetized before this 8,000 hour thing comes into play than worry about me getting monetized before the 8,000 hours comes into play. So that's just who I am, if y'all don't know me already. So we're gonna keep going because I am way off topic, and I'm 19 minutes into this thing. Okay, so here's some audience participation, which I haven't done before. I see other YouTubers doing this during a live, but we're going to do audience participation. So put a 1 in the chat if you think your forever home should be the nicest home you can afford. Put a 2 in the chat if you think it should be comfortably below what you can afford. Because that's what we're talking about with me. So I'll wait. I'll give it a few seconds. I know there's like this delay in YouTube, and people on lives, they talk and then they say something to the chat and then they move on to the next topic before the chat even has a chance to come up and respond. So I'm responding to 2 topics ago by the time I respond, and they've moved on 2 topics. You know, So I'm seeing some twos here, which is, I think you should buy, I think it should be comfortably below what I can afford. And that's why we're going to get into the numbers. And I really want to get into the numbers now. I can't wait any longer. I really want to get into the numbers. There's all kinds of stuff I'm supposed to talk about before I get to the numbers, but I'm so excited to show you guys my numbers of this thing. It's just very exciting. And so Christiana is saying, one, she wants the most house she can afford. Now, Christiana lives in a high cost of living area, and it's very nice. It's beautiful. It has tons of amenities. I am a country person who moved to Alabama to save money in retirement, save cost of living in retirement. So whichever way you go, there is no right or wrong as long as it fits what works best in your life. And that's my point. Nobody is ever like right or wrong. Even in the poll question, there is no right or wrong. And I learned this from Christiana, is do the things that bring you joy and cut the things that do not bring you joy. So what brings me joy? Riding my motorcycle. My new home has a place for my motorcycle. Joy, pure and simple. I mean, it doesn't get any simpler than that. So do what brings you joy. And that's what life is all about. That's why I love Laura, Lakeside Laura, and her singing bowls. It brings me peace and serenity. I can sit here and meditate and listen to the singing bowls. And so I will be honest, I haven't meditated in a little while. I fell off the wagon. I have to get back on it. I am back on the exercise wagon. So I'm back on my daily exercise. So I've got to add back in my daily meditation. So here's our other little side story. So I'm going to give you guys a quick update on where we are in the process, because I have had to go through, while I'm getting dragged out by the lender, right, which was just painful, I had to go ahead and pay for inspections. So I'm paying for stuff not even knowing if I'm going to get approved for the loan. And like I said, the first lender that approved me, he approved me very quickly, but it was a huge down payment and the terms were not very good at all. They just weren't. But I was going to take it because I'll take whatever I can get to get the home, because as you guys will see when I show you my numbers, I can work with anything. I can figure it out. Even if I start off on a bad foot, I can make it better as time goes on. So let's talk about where we are in the process. We'll give you that quick update. So I've done the septic inspection. This is on city water, so I don't have a well. I've had a well, like on this land I have a well. On my 8 acres of land I have a well, but on this land it's city water, so I don't have to have the well inspected. So I had septic inspected, and after this live, I have to run and get my puppy, and then we're gonna run to a town that's 45 minutes away so that I can pay the wife of the septic inspector, because she handles the money in the business. But she lives an hour and a half from here. So she's gonna drive 45 minutes, I'm gonna drive 45 minutes so I can hand her the cash. I've been trying to get it to the septic guy for a week now, and he keeps going, Daryl, I'm not worried about it. It's okay, don't worry about paying me. I know you're good for it. I'm trying to get this guy his money. And so then the survey. The first lender that was charging a boatload of money and didn't have the best terms required a survey of the land. The second lender that I did get approved with did not require a survey, but I didn't know who I was going with, so I got the survey done. And luckily, I have a surveyor in my phone who's the same guy that did this land that I'm on right now. So, you know, it's a miracle that you have a surveyor in your phone that you could just call and he can just come out to your land. You know, so that part is cool. I'm still trying to pay the surveyor. He did the survey, and he's like, Daryl, don't worry about it. I work in town. I'll get to it. You know, these folks around here are easy to do business with, and they trust me that I'm going to pay them. So that's a whole nother one. I think I'm trying to get the surveyor to come back out here to my RV later today, later this afternoon, and then I'll pay him. So anyway, so I still have to pay the septic person and the surveyor. Then I had to have termite inspection. I forgot all about a termite inspection. But we have termites down here in Alabama, and you have to have a termite inspection. So my realtor reminded me of that, so I quickly scheduled a termite inspector. Again, I had somebody in my phone that did a termite inspection on one of my rental properties that I bought in 2025. So I got in my phone, called the people. They were out the next day, if not the same day. I'm not sure if the lady said the guy's going to be out in your area this afternoon. I said, good, have him do the termite inspection this afternoon. That's where I live. I live out in the country where people just go with the flow. They just go with the flow. And I love it. I love it. This is not like the city, where everybody's trying to charge you an exorbitant price. And then you're on their schedule and hope and pray that they show up when they said they were going to show up. And so all those inspections are done. They all came back good. And so now let's talk about the walkthrough, right? Because I recorded the walkthrough, and the only thing that the house inspector found during the walkthrough, and what I did was when I went to talk to the inspector, the home inspector after the inspection, I recorded it on my cell phone. I asked him, I've never done this before, and I've walked through just a few inspections with inspectors. But they always say, well, I'll give you this full report and it'll list everything that needs to be fixed. Well, I turned on my cell phone and I said, I just want to record everything you're saying so that I can come back and listen to this, and then I'll hear everything you said again. Which, beautiful idea, because the only thing wrong with this place is that there is a small leak in the guest bathroom. And so, of course, I have plumbers in my phone. I have a property management company. I make a couple of phone calls. There's plumbers there immediately, right? I'm what they call a VIP customer. And so these people just come. Oh, that's Daryl. Let's go, And so I will have someone out there to fix this very small leak underneath the sink in the guest bathroom. And so I'm also lining up people to come out and give me estimates on upgrading various different parts of the home. Not all at once, not this year, whenever I save up the money and have the money. This is not some place where I'm just going to walk in and just start throwing money and credit cards all around. I'm not doing that. So the other thing that I mentioned in my walkthrough video is that the dishwasher, it's an old dishwasher and it doesn't work. Well, I don't use a dishwasher. And so you can call me frugal, you can call me cheap, okay? I have 2 bowls and 2 spoons, and I operate just fine. So I don't have a cabinet full of dishes and pots and pans that I need to fill up a dishwasher with and wash a whole load of dishes. I wash my 2 bowls, I wash my 2 spoons. Normally I wash the bowl after every use, so I never have 2 dirty bowls. And I know everybody out there is judging me. However, I have saved a ton of money. Just keep that in mind. So I feel judged. So anyway, those are the repairs. So now I'm not going to get the dishwasher repaired. I may have a plumber come out, because I've done this before. I may have a plumber come out, disconnect the dishwasher, and just make sure that the sink is connected directly to the outside, and have the dishwasher totally disconnected. So there's no water running to it, no nothing. But there's no need for me to buy a brand new dishwasher. So those are the things that need repaired. So let's talk about financial lessons here. Are you buying a home that you can't afford, that needs too many repairs for you to make and stay on your budget? See, this house is not costing me much of anything. And the other part to all of this is that all the contents in the house come with the house. Because the guy that bought the house, he was going to move in there, but he decided not to move in there. But the prior person that sold him the house, the little old lady that moved out, she left a lot of her belongings in the house. Not a ton, but I mean a lot. Like the dining room table, a roll top desk, the entertainment center, which is basically just a big TV stand thing that I could just put my TV on and I'm done. So I have a TV stand here in the RV. I just put the TV on there, done. So there is not a lot for me to buy. And so let's talk about what is there in there for me to buy. And I'm going to try and keep track of the time. We're at 30 minutes. I'm doing good. I am doing good here. So Lakeside Laura says, being a minimalist is great. You know, and so, yes, I am a minimalist, if you all can't tell. I eat on very little amount of money. I just don't require variety in my diet. So I am good with eating the same food. I've been that way for many, many years, you know, and a lot of it came from, you know, coming from homelessness, but also having events in my life, like getting demoted at work and losing 30% of my pay. All of those things sort of force you to live within your means. Those kinds of situations, I was a survivor before they cut my pay. So when they cut my pay, I just went back into my regular, normal, minimalist survival mode. And I was fine. I mean, I was eating oatmeal, I was eating salads, I was eating healthy things, which I still do today. I eat healthy food. Now, it's time for me to get honest with you guys. I'm going to meet this lady to pay the septic at a McDonald's. And I'm thinking about buying myself a hamburger. I don't normally go to McDonald's, but I'm going to have my puppy with me. We're going to take a long drive. He loves long drives. And I think I may treat myself. I might do that. So once in a blue moon, I actually treat myself to something. So that's me being honest. Okay, I'm not frugal 100% of the time every day. So we're gonna get right back into this. So ask yourself, what could be the most expensive surprise when buying a new home? Is it the roof? There are 2 satellite dishes on the roof of this place and 1 satellite dish on a pole in the backyard. Well, that sort of told me that these people have never really had internet up there, even though they have the Ring cameras that sort of need internet. Well, I called the internet company, and they've only been putting, fiber optics in our neighborhoods. We're on rural roads and rural streets. They've only been doing that for the last couple of years. So I called them, gave them the address, and they said, yes, we have fiber down at the road, but it's never been run up to the house. So that's one of the things that I'm going to get done as soon as I move in, of course. Now, I can stay here in my RV until I get fiber optics run and installed and everything up there, because I have to be able to teach, and I could maybe use my cell phone, maybe not, for internet. But I'll stay here until I get the house ready for me to move in. So some of the things that you want to think about are the roof, the HVAC system, the plumbing. I've had all those things checked out, and they're all fine. This was a very gently used mobile home by a little old lady. And that's the kind of car you want to buy, right? Isn't that what they say? That you want to buy a car that was only driven by a little old lady. They said those are the best used cars to buy. Oh, Skywalker is here. Great to see you. Now, he has his own lawn care business, lawn care landscaping business in Texas. And so I love watching him in his business in Texas. So if you guys have not checked out Skywalker. It's 713 Skywalker. Check him out. Check out his channel. So great to see you. And Lala, great to see you. And Mike's Adventure Sparks is here. So, and he talks about living in the, I call it an RV, in the back of his truck, right? His camper in the back of his truck. Well, I've been living in an RV for a year now. And so we both, he and I, live in a limited amount of space. Now, again, because this thing is only maybe 300 square feet, I don't know, maybe 300 square feet, I'm going to a 2,000 square foot home. Do I really need 2,000 square feet? No. But it's in my budget and I can afford it. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to try to figure out what to do with all that space. And trust me, I don't need it. It'll be like living in a palace or something to me. So, and please, oh, I almost forgot to say, type fire in the chat and it will put your channel out there. I meant to write that in my notes and I keep forgetting every week. So yeah, please connect with other people and support other channels. Because if you're more of a giver than a taker, I believe that karma, life will come back to you. I try to be a giver, especially like in real estate transactions. I make it easy to do business with me. And what I won't do is I will not go back and forth with someone. I give them an offer, they give me a counter offer. I give them another counter offer, they give me a counter. I don't do that. You give me your price, I run my numbers, that works for me, I'll take it. And everybody's happy. When I'm selling a property, I put it out for a price, you give me an offer, I give you a counter offer, and that's it, I'm done. My counter offer is it. If you don't take my counter offer, we're good. I'll move on to somebody else. I do not go back and forth. Okay, I do not have time. I don't have the energy for that kind of nonsense. And I realize that that's part of real estate. I realize that's normal in real estate. It's just not me. It's just not me. I make a decision quick, I buy it quick, and we're done. We're done. Everybody go on with their life. That's how, I was saying before the live that I should put out more videos trying to make the 4,000 hours or more lives or whatever, but I'm retired and I'm lazy. So everybody, just, if you know me, you know he's retired and he's lazy. So he's not into hard work. I'm just not into hard work. So anyway, we are going to get to my numbers because I'm at 38 minutes and I can't wait any longer. You know, whatever my script says for me to talk about next, I can't wait. So I've given you guys the mortgage loan update and how painful it was to get to the point where we are right now. But where we are right now is, one, my loan has been approved and the terms are very good, which I'm going to talk about here in just a second. The terms are good. The paperwork was massive that I had to do. And finally, I had to move from the person that I initially talked to their back office person, because the person I initially talked to had to ask questions of the back office every single day. So now I'm with the back office and things are moving. They gave me a list of items. I had that list of items to that person in 2 hours because all of my financial information is organized. I keep track of everything. Do you want this document? Do you want that document? I've got it. I've got it. I've got it. I've got a personal financial statement. Everyone should have a personal financial statement. Now, I did not need it for this transaction because this is going to be my primary, but for every real estate transaction that I buy in rental properties, they want a personal financial statement. How much are you worth? Where is your money? Is it in retirement? Is it in, jewelry? I have some jewelry that's worth some money. So all of that stuff, those are my assets. They want to know, where are your assets? How much liabilities do you have? I have a lot of liabilities. I have a number of rental properties. They're not paid off. I have a lot of liabilities. So I need to show them, here's how much money I owe, here's what my net worth is, and here's how much money I bring in every month. Will you loan me the money? So keep your financial information up to date. You know, I had to show them when, not when I sold a property, that's a HUD statement. I had to show them, I'm trying to think of some of the documents that they wanted. For instance, they wanted insurance documents. They wanted me to have proof that I've gotten an insurance quote for this new home, right? What I do, got right on the phone, called my insurance company, said, hey, I want that quote right now. They've already given me the quote. Like the day we signed the contract, I was on the phone with my insurance person saying, get me a quote on this house. So I'd already had the quote, but I was in a hurry, so I said, just send it again. And of course, within an hour, I had the email with the quote and any other insurance questions they had, right? My realtor, I'm trying to sell a property. My realtor texted me and said, Daryl, there's somebody who wants to buy one of your properties and they want to know how much insurance you pay a year. Boom, I went into my insurance company, looked up that property, told them $700. I texted her back in less than 5 minutes. Have all of your information handy. That's all I'm saying, you know. So I did that. Once I got on the phone with the underwriter, because other things came up, right? Like this piece of land that I'm on right now, it popped up on their radar somehow. So they wanted an explanation of how much do I owe on this land? What are my payments on this land? All that information. Guess what? My little rural bank here doesn't do statements on loans. So I called up my banker. He wrote me a letter that I gave to the mortgage company, which says how much my loan is, what my payments are. See, that's how easy my life is. You just call somebody or text them on the phone and get the document you need. It's beautiful. I'm telling you, when you have a team, it's beautiful. So I have a lawyer, I have a real estate person, I have property management. It's all a phone call or text message, and I get something taken care of. So I have got to get to my, oh good, we're at my numbers. We're at my numbers finally. So you guys may have to come back and rewatch this live, at least this portion of the live, because I'm going to be throwing a lot of numbers at you, but I was so excited. See, because I'm a numbers person. And I want to tell you guys how, while this is a beautiful forever home that makes my life peaceful, it also works financially. And so I'm going to tell you how I'm going to make it work even better than it is. So let's talk about why I chose the second lender, right, that had the better terms. The first lender had a loan that was 15% down, which my number is about $29,000. That's just the down payment. That's not even counting all of the different fees and inspections and all this stuff. I would have had to come up with $35,000 or more to get this. And do I have $35,000? I could pull it together, but I don't have $35,000 laying around in a high yield savings account. I don't have that kind of money. I got to pull it from here and pull it from there, and that's a lot of money. And so, and then it was only a 5-year loan, so I would have to renew it in 5 years. Now, it was a 20-year amortization, so the payments were based as if it was a 20-year loan. So 15% down, 5-year, refinance it again with the same bank. They would refinance it, no problem. And it had a 20-year payment schedule, right? The second lender, the one that I'm approved with, 30-year fixed rate loan. That's what you want, right? Now, I'll be in my 90s by the time that thing is done. However, for the price of this home, it will not take me 30 years. Okay, that we're not going to be sitting here doing minimum payments. I don't do that. But not only is it a 30-year fixed rate loan, it's only 5% down. So that cuts my down payment down to just about 10,000. So I went from needing 29,000 to 10,000. So much easier, much better for me. And I just sold a rental property last week, which gave me the money for the down payment. So I'm very blessed. I don't have to pull from any of my other sources that I would have pulled from had I not sold that rental property. So let's keep going with these numbers because it gets even better. The first lender gave me an interest rate, and I can't exactly remember what it was, but it gave me an interest rate that's, whatever the national average is. And according to bankrate.com, the national average for interest rates right now is 6.88%. So my interest rate with the second lender that gave me the 30-year loan was higher than the 6.88%, but they offered me the option to buy down the rate. The first lender, the 15% guy, did not offer me any rate buy down. So his rate was what it was, and that was it. So what I did was I'm buying down the rate. And so I bought down the rate, and I'm looking at my numbers here. Where do I see that? It was $5,000, thereabouts. These are like rough numbers. But it was $5,000 to buy down the rate 1 percentage point. And what that saves me, because here's me in playing with numbers and calculators, over the life of the loan, if all I did was buy down the rate 1% for $5,000, it saves me $45,000 in interest over the life of the loan. That's if I did nothing else. But that's not me. I don't just do nothing else. So of course, I'm buying down the rate. So that's now at least $15,000 that I have to come up with. So that's $15,000 plus fees that I have to come up with to close this loan. When I sold my rental property, after paying the IRS and putting money aside for all that, maybe I had $20,000. However, I paid off one of my highest interest loans with that. And that was sort of part of this deal of getting this loan from this lender, was paying off that high interest loan. So I may or may not have all the money at the time of closing without touching any of my retirement, without going into debt, none of that stuff. I think I can pull it together. Okay? So I have savings, I have this and that. I think I can pull together the money. So let's keep going with this. So then I looked at how much would I save if I put a little bit extra each month on the payment. Because buying down the interest rate by 1% saves me $150 a month in payments. So I said, what if I take that $150 a month and still pay that extra every month on my mortgage? Actually, $125. So it saves me $125, that 1%. So if I take that 1% and do that, now I'm saving $75,000 in interest just by putting $125 a month on my mortgage payment. And so let's look at my mortgage payment as it stands right now, all in. It's about $1,400 a month. My Social Security is $2,600 a month. And that's why I took Social Security, even though I didn't need it. I took it to make the mortgage payment. And I did that because I thought I was getting a loan on that brand new mobile home. So I have a home that I purposely bought that is well within my Social Security payment. So I don't need my teaching income. I don't need my pension. I don't need any rental income. Social Security pays for the home. So $1,400 a month mortgage payment, all in, that's insurance, that is property taxes, that is principal and interest, and I get $2,600. So what does that leave me with? An extra $1,200 a month after my mortgage is paid. Okay, that's plus teaching income, plus pension, plus rental income. So I have plenty of income to afford this. And we talk about being a minimalist. I am a minimalist with my payments, right? Now, I'm going to tell you, $1,400 a month seems like a lot to me. Even though it's well within my budget, I don't like it. I don't like it. So what am I going to do? I'm coming up with an additional strategy on top of paying the extra $150 a month, right? There's this thing called recasting. And if you have not heard of recasting, you absolutely should call your mortgage company and talk to them about how you can recast your mortgage loan. So, and Pause and Plain Old is saying haggling is part of some cultures. It absolutely is. I totally get it, you know, that it's part of some cultures. And if I was on vacation, and we'll just say in the Bahamas, right? And I was haggling over a souvenir, no problem. My issue is when it comes to real estate, and my real estate is very cheap. It's not expensive real estate at all. If you're haggling over this cheap piece of property, you shouldn't even be in the business. You should have that much money sitting in a bank account somewhere. My properties are not expensive. They're not worth haggling over. They're like $10 wherever you live. My properties are worth like $10 where you live. So they're not something worth haggling over. It's like you're haggling over 50 cents. We're not doing it. So that's how cheap my properties are, just so everybody knows. So what I'm doing is I'm planning to sell more rental properties in the future, right? And I may make 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 on a sale. Not a lot of money. However, I am reducing my debt. And I have reduced my debt quite a bit this month. All it takes me is a couple of rental properties and I'm completely out of debt. So I don't owe a ton of money as far as my consumer debt goes. So when I do this recasting, what that is you take a chunk of money, whatever it is. Maybe your mortgage company has like a minimum number of $10,000. But I'm going to use the example of 25,000. So you take this chunk of money, 25,000, and you put it on your mortgage. Your mortgage company lowers your payment every month, but you keep the same terms and the same interest rate. So it's still a 30-year loan. It's still at whatever the interest rate is, but it brings down your payment because you're paying on the principal. Now, I have two ways to do this. I could sell a rental property and take the profits and chunk it towards my mortgage. And I'm not selling all my rental properties, I'm only selling a few, so I'll still have a bunch left over. But I sell a rental property, and I have one under contract right now. I sell a rental property, and I take that money, put it on the mortgage, lower the payment, right? What does that do? It reduces my interest paid to the mortgage company by over $100,000. See, that's another way to reduce the amount of interest that I'm paying. And to me, that is the big save here, is not giving a bank money I don't have to give them. So I could sell a rental property and put a chunk of money on the mortgage. Or I could refinance, I could sell a property, or I could refinance a rental property, pull cash out which does not have any tax consequences at all. Not like a sale where I have to pay recapture taxes and those sorts of things and capital gains. But with a refinance of a rental, I can pull cash out, chunk it towards my mortgage. Now my rental properties, the interest I pay on that cash that I took out is tax deductible. So now my interest is tax deductible, and I've lowered my payment on my primary. If I do that enough times, I could totally pay off my primary, have all of the interest that's being paid on the primary tax deductible. So basically, my rental properties could pay off my primary mortgage over time. That is the plan. Have tax deductible interest payments. Don't just give interest payments to a bank for 30 years. See, so that's why I was trying to tell everybody I love my numbers. Because I know my numbers, I know how money works. And so the last thing that I'm going to share, because I'm getting to 56 minutes here. Hi, Mary Jean. Everybody welcome in Mary Jean. Mary Jean G 333. She's the person that I told you all earlier that I'm running her playlist now. I met her last night on Lakeside Laura's channel. And so she and I are swapping playlists. That's something for y'all to do. Oh, everybody type fire. Type fire in the chat. Is it pound fire or just fire? Nope, just fire. Just type fire in the chat. I haven't done it in a while, but Nightbot is in here helping me. When you type fire, it will put your channel in the chat so that others can go to your channel. And I want us all to connect. And we're swapping playlists out here. I have done it with some other people. Oh, Lisa's here. Hi, Lisa. So Lisa J. Stocks is here, and I wanted to mention, which I almost forgot, Lisa, is that Lisa J. Stocks is going live very shortly after my live ends, maybe 15 minutes, I think, after my live ends. So we should all like do a raid over there, except that I won't be live to do a raid, and I don't know how to do a raid. But anyway, we should all go over to Lisa J. Stocks' channel 15 minutes after mine ends. I will be on the road, Lisa, but I will be listening. I'll be in my car. Me and my puppy got to make a run. But I will be in my car, Lisa, and I will be listening. And I'm sorry that I won't be able to mod and, kick out anybody who's acting up over there, but I'll be in the car. So the last thing that I want to share, because I've shared all these numbers of how I'm going to, one, lower my mortgage payments over time. I would love to have a $600 mortgage payment. That to me is preferable over $1,400. Okay, so I'm going to get it down. I'm going to chunk money at this property and get my payments down. This property is less than 10% of my total net worth, meaning that 90% of my money is working. It's out there making me more money, which is the money I'm going to use to pay down this 10%. See? So you can say your primary residence is 50% of your net worth. You could say it's 80% of your net worth. That's normal. That's normal. That's not me. I am not a normal financial person. I'm a minimalist, and I do not want my forever home to own me. I want the freedom to travel. And so I'm setting it up where my doctor and dentist appointment are once every 3 months on the same day. So I could leave this country for 3 months at a time, come back, see my doctor, see my dentist, pick up my medicine at the pharmacy, and leave the country again for another 3 months. That's my future plan. And I'm starting to put all of that into place by having a home that does not cost me most of my money. It only costs me a part of my Social Security. And over time, I'm going to make it come less and less a part of my Social Security. I want my rental properties to pay off this mortgage. That's the plan. Not me, the renters. The renters, the rentals. There you go. Pay for my primary residence. That's just how I roll. I don't want to spend my money. I want other people to buy my lifestyle. That's who I am. And so that's why my channel, even if I get monetized, all the proceeds go to the homeless. Because I've been so blessed that it's time for me to give back to the community in which I live in. And I told you guys how I try to make it easy to do business with me. My community makes it easy to do business with me. And that's why I love all the people that are here in my chat, because we're givers. We are people that give to others without, oh, I want you to buy this and get me that and get me. No, we give to others. That's what we do. And so, oh, my time is up. So I'm going to rush out of here, go get my puppy, and we're getting on the road to go pay my septic inspector. So come back next week, because not only have I been in the process of buying my forever home, which is, we're at the appraisal stage. So once you get past the appraisal, we're heading towards the finish line. Then it's my job to come up with that money for the down payment, and I'll figure it out. I'm jumped out of the thing. I'm parachute. I'm building my parachute on the way down. So next week, we're going to talk about my rental properties, of which I've sold one, which is helping me with the down payment on this property. 2, I have another one under contract. And 3, I'm deciding sometime between now and next week whether I'm going to sell a third one. I may pull it off the market. Also, I'm setting 3 other properties up for sale. I'm working with someone offline to buy 3 other of my properties. So all of those updates are going to come next week, because that has been a whole mess in itself. However, oh, and an update on my property that caught fire, because we're finally starting to get money from the insurance company. So come back next week for a rental property update. Thank you everyone for coming, and I hope that people put fire in the chat. So I'm going to give it one more minute. I'm going to stay on. This is me trying to get those 4,000 watch hours. I'm going to stay on for one more minute. That's me being extra, so that people can type fire in the chat, because it takes a few seconds for the chat to come through. So everybody all at once, just type fire in the chat. We'll just have a flood of channels, coming through here, and I'll get one more minute of watch hours by staying on for one more minute, because that's how lazy I am about getting the 4,000 watch hours. I'll put in an extra minute. Yeah. So, okay, so we have people putting in fire. CL Fantasy did it. Let's see. Oh, and Mary Jean, she needs subscribers. Let me say that. She could really use subscribers. So and so I'm going to give her a shout out here. And I've subscribed to her channel. She has singing bowls and affirmations, and I'm watching her lives right now. And so everybody give her a hand. Everybody, and tell your friends to give Mary Jean G333 a hand with some subscribers over there. That's what we do, Mary Jean. We're like a community of people who help each other. So, Mary Jean, it was great to meet you, and thank you so much for coming to my live. And I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. I got to go get my puppy. I got to get on the road. And next week's rental property update on everything. I'll give you guys all the dirty and the skinny on the good and the bad of being a rental property landlord. Okay, everyone. Thank you all. And Monique Powell is here. Monique, you came in at the last second when I was heading out, but Monique Powell came in. Thank you, Monique. I'm coming to your channel. I love when you do your updates and your baskets and those kinds of things. So I will, oh, I saw Skywalker. I did not see Karen at Eclectic Butterfly. And I also did not read you the 2 quotes from Eclectic Butterfly Karen. I had that quote here to read you guys today. I never got to it. And from Julie at Happy on Monday. They gave me suggestions for my new forever home, and I was going to read you their comments. I'm going to save it. I'm going to read you their comments at the beginning of next week. Or I'm going to do a short with their comments. That's what I'm going to do. I will do a short later today with their comments to tell you how helpful this community is. When we say, please give me some suggestions, they really step up and really support you. Thank you all for coming. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all next week. Remember, never let your past determine your future.